This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
It is the Ides of May. 11 o'clock on Thursday, you're listening to WZOB Radio. Lunch with Bryan and Steve, Brian Northcutt and Steve Chambers. We're live. Episode 11 is today. Braves are one game under 500. Pool is now opening. I think we had something to maybe do with that, possibly opening. So hopefully our presence.
It's October, I believe.
Hopefully our presence. That's Steve Chambers. Let me bring him in. Steve, welcome to another episode of Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
I need to wait my turn.
Yeah, you got to wait till I got to introduce you. I got to set the show up, then introduce you. You got to get everything in order.
Well, this is just our 11th show. I hadn't caught them yet.
We're trying to dial this thing in. Anyway, if you're listening on the radio, you're dialed into 1250 AM, 100.9 FM. You can also listen to us online, wzobradio.com. Click the Listen Live button there. If you're on Facebook, sitting at work or at home and got your computer pulled up, you can pull Facebook up. We're live streaming on WZOB's Facebook page. Miss Holly Allen will archive the show on YouTube. Eventually.
Think I've done that
did
yet.
we figure out how to keep the Facebook Live up? Was there a setting on there that we can adjust?
Yeah, you said something about that. I can't remember. It wasn't a setting. I don't remember.
Okay.
We're gonna fix.
We're working
we'll
through
tinker.
it. We're tinkering through it. We got new lights in the studio last week that we really showed you guys. And so each week, and now we even did a little adjusting on our screen so you can see the banjo inside the WZOB's
I'm so excited.
logo there. So we're excited. We got a big show for you guys today. We're going to have lunch with, we're going to have gardening tips. It's lunch with Bryan and Steve, even though we don't have lunch while we're here, which is kind of ironic.
Skipping lunch with Brian.
Skipping lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan and Steve.
Famine with
skip
Bryan and Steve.
Fasting with Bryan and Steve. We're going to have Chris Dura with Thrive Outdoor gardening tip of the week here in the next segment. We also have from the manager for the Alabama band for decades, Greg Fowler, is going to be in studio with us in a little bit.
Is he the manager? Did you?
I think so. Wasn't he the road
manager? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
he coordinates the June Jam when they have it
Yeah.
these days, and so we'll get to talk with him and see how he get an update. I saw his grandson the other day. He's back in town working this summer.
You were gonna see if.
I asked him if he'd come in. He said no, and I think he's actually working right now. Nolan Fowler plays for Huntington baseball down there. Anyway, Greg will be here in just a few minutes. We've got different things going on. I really wanted us to kind of walk through. We've had about every time you kick over an ant bed, somebody's running for city council. So we got to go through all that list. And I asked Greg what he's going to do if he gets elected city council, because apparently when you come on the show, that's what you're doing. So
Unbeknownst to you, I text someone if they wanted to announce today, but I haven't heard back from them.
oh yeah, I forgot about. Is that the one we've talked about before?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's
He's like Chris. He's having to work for a living right now.
getting lots of good feedback. So let me tell you guys, just one thing that you could help us with, if you're listening, and whenever you're listening to this, it doesn't have to be live. If you'll just click the like or the love symbol there, love us, like us. Don't do the thumbs down. Just ignore that. But follow WZOB. We need to have some kind.
Yeah, I think
we
there is.
need some measuring sticks, because what I'm seeing right now for our show, and this is, I think we're gaining some momentum, is that we're getting over 800 views every episode on Facebook. That's the only measuring stick that I've got. If you go over to YouTube, it's 20, 25, but that's not a big indicator. It helps us to know, and we're talking to people in town. I talked to somebody this week, talked to a guy the other day that said, I saw the 2-hour length. I said, I'm not going to listen for 2 hours. I listened for about 5 minutes. You guys made me laugh. I listened for another 5 minutes. You guys made me laugh again. And so and then and this guy's wife actually told me yesterday that you guys are both informative and fun, which was the two goals that we had set out for this show. Is we want you guys to be informed about things going on in Fort Payne and DeKalb County, and we want to be entertaining. So hopefully we're accomplishing both tasks. And you've been getting some feedback too. From people that you've talked with.
It's all been positive. I guess they didn't want to hurt my feelings, but it's been positive.
That's what you're saying.
Even our walking promo.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say, Yeah, we had 150 views on that.
Hey, we did another promo that you'll see. When are you going to
They
post
said,
that?
you know where you're going. I said, I was just following Brian.
I don't know. I'm trying to decide when the best time to post that is. Maybe
Yeah, so
Wednesday,
we
maybe
went down
Wednesday?
today to the big
Oh, that is kind
chair.
of dark.
The
Yeah.
is that dark?
Well, I mean, but we want to be.
Let me
able
see if
to,
I can do this.
I
Let's
don't
see
know
if this
if
will
you
work.
can-
Will this help it? No.
Anyway.
We went down to that
I'll post
that
it.
big A chair down in downtown.
Yeah.
And Steve and I cuddled.
Big A chair.
Yeah, you know what that means. We cuddled up next to it and did a little promo for next week's show. We've already got the next 3 shows booked, so we'll talk about that
We
a
have
little
the
bit later.
29th.
Got it booked today too.
Oh.
So we've got next week, the 22nd, the 29th, and the 6th. They're all booked. So we've got people. Actually, we've got people coming to us to ask to be on the show.
Man.
So anyway, so we need
There's
you
a
guys.
certain desperation in the town now. So June 6th.
That's called
D-Day.
low bar because there ain't nobody else on the radio
Yeah.
right now. So we're not really competing against anybody.
in this time slot.
And we are whipping their tail too, the people we're not competing against.
That's right.
So anyway, but if you guys will help us, we would love to see comments, to see some
Yeah, nice
something-
comments only, please.
I'm okay with constructive criticism.
Okay.
Constructive
As
criticism.
long as you sandwich it. You got to sandwich it, though.
Yeah, a criticism sandwich.
Yes.
No, it's a.
Does
is that what it's-
everybody know what a criticism sandwich
Yeah,
is?
do you know what a criticism sandwich? You start with a compliment, and then you put your criticism, and you close with a compliment. You sandwich the criticism.
Makes it
between
a
two
lot
compliments.
easier to swallow.
That's right. You're supposed to get 9 good things said about you for every 1 negative, which Steve's working on.
Oh, boy.
That reminds me of, every one time you look within, to kind of see where you're messing up.
Yeah,
Look 10 times at Jesus.
there you go.
You know?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. So
kinda
anyway,
goes
we're
along
getting
the
a
same
lot of
line.
good feedback. The people that I'm talking to, we're getting over 800 views, which tells me that there's a consistency there, that people are watching and liking. If you would just wouldn't mind tapping in some comments, let us get some feedback. We're trying to dial this thing in. I think we have dialed it in. We started with 2 guests, 1 for each hour. We've reduced that down to 1 guest to give more time for us to kind of talk about stuff that's going on in town. We feel like that's working, but we're open to different ideas and how can we best serve the community.
Yeah. What do you
And-
want to hear about?
Yeah, what do you guys want to
Who do
hear
you
about?
wanna hear from?
And so we want it to be informative. We want to bring people in and get their ideas.
We can talk more sports if that's what you
That's
want.
right. We got Steve will talk Bama football for a while. He's got plenty to discuss there. Speaking of, you got some this day in history. We're always putting Steve's stuff on the back end of the show. I said we're going to put your stuff on the front end of the show. So give us something, Steve.
This
Lay
day in
it-
history, not the SEC football academic progress. We can do that later.
We'll do that one.
Gosh, we
This
did
day in
beat
history.
Harvard.
What happened to the governor?
Oh, in 1972, Governor Wallace was in Maryland, and Arthur Bremer shot him and nearly killed him,
Yeah.
paralyzed him from the waist down the rest of his life.
On this day.
On this day in history.
1972.
And whose birthday was it? No, that was Monday. You said Yogi Berra's birthday
Yogi
was Monday.
Berra's birthday was
Emmett
Monday.
Smith's birthday.
Emmett Smith's
Never
birthday.
been a Cowboys fan, but I like him.
He's a good running back. Did you see that Governor Ivey signed a bill to
Cell phones?
no,
No.
to put THC and CBD products under the alcohol or under the ABC board, the alcohol
Okay.
board for the state. So if you're going to sell gummies or any
That
other
have THC
that have
in them.
THC in
Because
them,
there's
you
a-
have to get licensed through the ABC
Because
board now.
there is a place in town that sells, gummies, but it's doesn't have the THC in it.
Yeah.
So,
Where is that?
Where do you get your gummies, Steve?
well, I'll
Betsy
tell you.
Dillback.
Well, they used to. They've kind of redirected themselves. What?
I give her Cheetos. She gives me gummies. It's good. It's a good one.
I missed that.
She's a lady from our church that listens. And
Hey,
she
you know,
always
do you
says,
know that we are live? Right?
Yeah, she always, Betsy always says, you and Brian, boy.
We're a good bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
Betsy, that was Steve, all Steve. That was no me.
You know I love you, Betsy.
I didn't hear it.
I can't wait to talk to Greg Fowler about Shirley. So if Holy Shirley's listening right now, then we.
She told me I couldn't say anything, so I'm going to leave that to you.
Anyway, so we're going to have Chris Durr on the next segment. What else we got going on? We got Greg's going to inform us about June Jam updates. What's going on this year? You know, they're pausing it this year. I think it was because of the conflict with Rock the South. Is that
Is
not?
that what it
I think it
was?
was.
I just felt like
But they have other things going on during the week.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, they're going to still do their appreciation week, but so we'll talk more with Greg Fowler. We got Boom Days coming up this weekend. Not Boom Days, third Saturday.
Saturday.
It's Boomtown Opry is on. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about that, Holly?
Well, just to let everybody know, this is Landmarks
Yep.
with the Opera House. They are raising funds to, I think 2 years ago when we were a big part of it, they were raising funds to put in a sprinkler system because if
Okay.
you light a match and that thing is
Oh,
going up.
buddy, yeah.
So anyway,
I gave me a whipping one. The first time it burned, when the Opera House burned, I got a whipping over that one.
you got a whipping.
Yeah, because we rode by it and I
'Cause you
said,
did
"What
it?
the?" No, I said, "What the H is going on there?" And my dad said,
Smack you in the mouth.
Oh boy.
"So
Well, anyway,
I can go to the spot at Forest Avenue School where I got the spanking too."
that's funny.
That must have been a good one.
That was a good one.
So anyway,
I just heard what I saw. I just repeated what I saw on TV.
Yeah.
They used H on TV all the time, so I
Right,
said
right.
it with my dad in the car.
Yeah, it's
That's
in the
like-
Bible.
It's like if I said something, where did you hear that? My dad was World War II Navy veteran. Where do you think I heard that? But I never really actually said that.
Well.
So
Anyway, so Boomtown Opry, it's fun, it's funny, the musical, it's Will Dooley.
yeah,
He's part of the.
we need to
heading
host
up.
that. We need to MC that, along with the moderating the debate that they're going to have. I'm
Brian's got
gonna
big plans.
I choose letter B, sir.
moderate the debate of the city council. So, are you ready for that when they ask us?
I'll do it. I'll wait for them to ask us.
Steve, I'll be good cop, you be bad cop, right?
Yeah, that's right. What about that? Is it called Antique Alley?
Oh, that's this week. The yard sale stuff.
Yeah, well, apparently it's already
buddy, they are-
started.
they are
'cause I
out
was
there.
coming down the mountain and going down Highway 11.
My goodness,
They
the
set up
yard
their
sale
tents.
stuff. Is that the world's longest?
No,
No,
this
that's like
is,
in August
That's in
or
August.
something.
This is like Antique Alley Highway 11.
And that's going on this weekend too.
Well, I think it
think
started from what I could
Buddy,
tell.
Oh my
going
goodness.
down
Oh
the
yeah,
highway.
I did see some stuff.
which means
putting
people
stuff
parking on the
out.
side of the road next to folks that are going
So it's
65
Highway
miles an hour.
11.
Yep.
Yes.
So
yeah,
y'all be careful on Highway 11 this weekend.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. It's definitely
Oh.
started.
So anyway, I think it's time to take our first break.
Just about.
Just
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
So,
y'all ready?
anyway, thank you guys for listening to Lunch with Brian and Steve, watching Lunch with Brian and Steve. Give us feedback. We would really appreciate, and that would help us know through some measurings that we're doing something. Like, what are we doing? Are we giving you what you want? Is there things we can do different? Like us, so that we can see more
Every
check
day,
marks.
Holly says, "What are you doing?"
What do you think you're doing?
What?
Yeah, she sent the group text out and said, "So what are we going to talk about tomorrow?" I said, "It's Wednesday. Why not? What are we going? I got to do show prep on Thursday. We're not doing show prep the day before. That's way too early."
If we could only see her face.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're going to take our first break. We'll be back with the Thrive Outdoor Garden Tip of the Week with Chris Durr right after this with Lunch with Brian and Steve.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
Hi, this is Brian Jett, Superintendent for Fort Payne City Schools, and you're listening to Lunch with Brian and Steve.
Hello, this is Mike Shirey with the Fort Payne Improvement Authority. Spring is an exciting time of warmer weather and new growth, but it's also a dangerous time. We all remember the tragic storms of April 2011 and lives lost and the scars that remain. We're reminded of the season and how the storms can impact our lives. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to stay safe and have a safety plan when the storms come. Always remember to stay away from any downed power lines or anything contacting those lines. Never try to move a power line and do not drive over a downed power line. If your vehicle is in contact with a power line, stay in the vehicle until help arrives. Stay alert and stay safe from your friends at Fort Payne Improvement Authority.
we're back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve, WZOB Radio, 100.9 FM, 1250 AM, live streaming on Facebook, archived on YouTube, all kind of ways. Or you can just come down here and hang out in the studio. What the heck? Come on. A little jazzy there, Miss Holly, on the bed music. Okay, let's get on to the next segment. Let's go to.
I have no idea what I'm talking.
You just blew his mind. All right, we're back. We're gonna switch gears here to Thrive Outdoor at Garden Tip of the Week. We've got on the WZOB hotline Chris Dura joining us. Chris, welcome to the show again.
Thank you guys for having me again.
All right, so Thrive Outdoor, Lee Buffington, sponsor of the show. We're excited to have those guys. They've been on board a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks now. So excited to have those guys on board. So Chris, give us our garden tip of the week.
Well, I'd love to, but I understand this is a place where you announce you're running for city council. So
That's
I guess
right.
I need to put my hat in there.
You're running, Chris?
Apparently, everybody calls in that's running, or whatever.
It's the people they flock to the show when they are running. So, which I guess is a good thing that means we're reaching some people, or they wouldn't come out and support us. So, anyway,
Exactly.
so you don't have anything to announce. You're not running, are you?
No, I'm not running. But I do want to, as you guys know, I do a lot of the sport. I do the sports part of the Fort Payne's High School with Holly and Bryan and Steve there. We do football, basketball, and baseball, and still holding on to that. I started last week talking about the Fort Payne baseball team.
Yep.
Who went to the playoffs, but they ended up losing to Gardendale. And I talked about how Fort Payne was the only team so far that scored on them.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how Gardendale was headed to play Hartselle.
Yep.
Well, I looked at that, and Hartselle is a perennial power for a reason. Gardendale only scored one run. Hartselle blanked them in one game, and they only scored one run in the other game. So Hartselle swept Gardendale.
Yep.
This past weekend.
And then Hartselle lost to Chelsea yesterday.
1-0.
1-0
in extra innings.
Wow.
Yep. I read it was in the ninth inning, and they got the bases loaded with nobody out, got a pop out, and then had a double play ball and threw to home plate, and then the catcher overthrew the throw to first, and the run scored. And that's how they lost 1-0. Crazy. All right, give us the garden tip, Chris.
Garden tip is we're going to talk about the dirty word of landscaping, and that's weeds.
Oh, weeds.
Nobody wants weeds.
Not singular, weed. that goes back to the
touch on that earlier.
So he's talking about growing weed? Is that what he said?
No, that was KIV. That's governed by the ABC board now. So.
That's it.
Weeds.
All right, so weeds. I know a lot of people in this area may not have planting beds, but if you have beds, as far as weeds go, I do not recommend the go-to plastic barrier that a lot of people will put down to stop weeds. It will work for a little bit, but guess what? You have to poke a hole where the plant goes in, and then after you throw your mulch or pine straw over the top of that weed barrier, eventually the weed seeds will end up growing. So I wouldn't waste my money there putting some kind of barrier underneath your mulch. I would use.
What about cardboard?
You're gonna You're gonna cut out cardboard for your planting beds.
I've seen somebody do it on YouTube. Cardboard.
That would be interesting, but I'd be worried about critters getting under that cardboard, like snakes and things like that.
Yeah,
but it just kind of rots into the ground.
Martha uses it as long as it doesn't have ink on it.
Yeah. And just before I called you guys, I wanted to make sure what I did see a good use for, and I hadn't thought about that. One of the things people are going to now is rock beds. For their bedding instead of mulch and pine straw, they're doing rock.
Okay.
And so if you're using rock, I would recommend the barrier because, and the reason I saw was it keeps that rock from pressing down and sinking in the dirt.
Okay.
So if we're ever using gravel or rock, that's a good place to use a barrier.
Okay.
But since I don't recommend it if you're not doing that, it's always the chemical treatment. I think that works best, or the good old hand pulling, which most people don't like to do. And I'll say this without getting into a long discussion. I have been in the industry over 25 years. I have used Roundup, which the chemical that kills weed is glyphosate. I know everybody in the world's scared of that
all right,
now because of the lawsuits.
Let's talk about that.
Um,
What do you got on that?
Yeah. Well, what I have on that, and like I said, I don't want to get into it because we could go all day talking about this, but
Really?
unless you're pouring it on you to shower with or you're drinking it,
I think Holly
I
does
don't
that.
I don't have a problem with that, and I hit that to say, I get that those chemicals are in you somehow, some way. I've been doing this over 25 years. I've sprayed it on my feet. I've sprayed it on my hands. And so far, nothing's wrong with me.
And you're normal,
I'm not saying
right?
That's not gonna happen. But when you use it in that context, you're diluting the chemical. So I don't. If you have a problem with that, then search your own ways to spray the weeds. But all that to say, if you'll routinely incorporate spraying weeds around your house when you cut the grass, you won't have a weed problem.
Okay.
You just got to do it the same as cut your grass. You can't do it once a month or once a summer. You're not going to get rid of that problem.
Yeah, the number of times that I've sprayed weeds, I could probably count on two hands in my life.
It'll say good for 3 to 4 months with the Roundup, but that just means 1 to 2, I think. But if you're really serious about it, spray Spectricide on it. That gets you weeds, you grass, you flowers, and everything else you don't want.
Well, added to what Steve just said, when you do spray that chemical for weeds, it will not kill big shrubbery like hollies or roses. It'll burn leaves, but it won't kill it because it doesn't have enough chemical to do that. That kind does.
Yeah.
It's really for small plants like weeds. So if you're spraying on a windy day, if you got daylilies or say some kind of perennial next to it, phlox, it may burn that pretty good, but it's not going to kill that plant like it would a weed.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my weed tip of the day, the dirty word weed.
Weeds, not weed.
That's
so
correct.
what else you got going on? You got kids home from college? You got, when y'all heading out on your trip, Chris?
That's a great observation, Brian. We do have our boy came home from Auburn this past weekend. We're celebrating him. He passed all his grades.
There we go.
His scholarship, so we're happy the scholarships keep going.
There we go. Gets to go back in the fall.
Yeah, the wife is teaching and she is counting down the days before Payne's out of school.
It is close. It is close. We're a week away, or just a little.
Teachers look forward to it as much as the children.
Oh, I know. I used to say that whoever wrote the song, "It's the most wonderful time of the year," was not a school teacher, because it's not Christmas.
A few
it's
months
May.
off, weren't they?
It's May, not Christmas. Well, good, brother. Well, anything else you got going on?
That's about it. About 2 weeks from now, you won't hear me
Okay.
the garden tip of the day because I will be in the ocean in the Gulf of America.
You got a phone?
You can't take your phone.
You can't take your phone in the ocean.
Oh, I got a phone. Hey, I can do. That's a great thought, Holly. I can do that live. Give you some Gulf Coast live with shrimp in my mouth.
Yeah,
Garden tip of the day.
That's what we want.
Live from docks. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Send us some shrimp pics.
We'll figure something out. Even if we don't get to do you live, we'll do you on a recording. And
Now that I think about it, I want to do it live so y'all can hear the ocean
there you
rushing
go.
over my feet.
Do some grounding, breath work, and get some vitamin D in the sunshine and all that kind of stuff. That's my breakout.
That's it.
Well, good. All right, Chris. Well, thank you for the Thrive Outdoor gardening tip of the week. See, I said I got it all 3 or 4 times that I said it. That's good for me. Good job, Brian. Thank you for joining us, Chris Dura with Thrive Outdoor. We appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right, the Thrive Outdoor tip of the week, gardening tip of the week with Chris Dura. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Lee Buffington, for sponsoring the show. So I noticed in the news, evidently, Fort Payne is becoming an area, not Fort Payne, but DeKalb County is an area for gunfights. I saw that there was a shootout in Valley Head, of all places. Did you see that?
I didn't. It's one I didn't hear it.
In Valley Head, Mayberry.
Yeah, right after Mayberry.
Was Barney involved?
Got his bullet out.
That's what I was talking about. We need to have Nick Weldon on.
And we do need to have, in fact, figure out what. Well, so the suspects apprehended could potentially have a longer trip ahead of them than they anticipated.
You think? Because they're kind of young.
Yeah, well, and they're also no bueno. So we're not sure how that'll end up working.
El Salvador is beautiful this time of year.
Yeah. But
So-
nobody was hurt, and that's good.
Well, that's just, I mean,
Crazy, right?
gunfight, shootout.
In Valley
When's the last
Head.
time you heard of a shootout in Valley Head?
Maybe at a football game, but not the real thing.
Oh, anyway. So, what else has been going on? I'm trying to figure. So, I was wondering about the pool. I didn't read the article, but there was an article about.
They're hopeful.
It
They
said pool opening ? And I thought, how much influence does this show already
Clickbait.
have that we bring it to the forefront?
That's it. It's all us.
when they got in there working on it, they felt like possibly it would open before the summer's over.
Oh, you read that? Is that?
I did. I actually read the article.
I didn't either. I just saw the headline. I thought, man, we're already having an impact. So,
Well, and until that, when you've got small kids, there's always the splash pad.
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, down at the Alabama Park.
Yeah,
People
there you
don't
go.
know. Yeah.
Let's see. So I wanted to go over real quick the folks that I know of, and maybe y'all can help me with this because I said on our group text that we need to figure out who is it that's running for these spots on the council
Yeah.
and the mayor. So right now we've got for mayor that we know of Brian Bain.
Okay.
That Brian Bain and Pete Davis are running for mayor. Anybody else that I know of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of either. Okay. What we know that John Smith and Walter Watson are running again. And has Lynn said anything yet? Y'all know?
Again, not that I'm aware of.
Not
She's
that I-
on the fence.
Yeah, she is.
When she was here.
When she was here, she had not decided. And I looked around to see because usually you post it. So then I got the new ones running that have not run before. Todd Simpson,
Yep.
Bo Gentleman, Clint Beeson, Scotty Vaughn, Jeff Young. Is that it? Somebody on Facebook or somebody post.
Probably if
Yeah.
those that
I just saw
officially have
Todd.
announced.
Yeah.
I know there's some leaning heavily, but
Yeah.
I don't want to
So it'll be interesting to see.
steal their thunder. So to
You know,
speak.
when you start digging down, like I've said before, and we've talked about it on the show, if we could do a show, like you want to get views, let us talk about the things that we hear about that people go, they pull you to the side and go, let me tell you this. They'll lean in and tell you some stuff and you go, man, can I talk about that? Nope, can't talk about that on the air.
No,
But
no.
if we could have those kind of conversations, we would have all kinds of people watching this
yeah.
show.
Gossip
We'd also
definitely
have to lock the
travels.
front doors while we're
Yeah.
broadcasting too. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we got Greg Fowler coming up in just a few minutes. It's time for us to take a break on Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Steve, you got anything else before we head to break?
We save this for later.
Okay.
The SEC football academic progress rates.
I wonder who's up front.
Alabama and Auburn fans will be happy about that.
Well, that's a tease. So we're going to have Greg Fowler in studio when we come back. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
When you need to give something special, visit Tracy's in North Fort Payne. Beautiful floral arrangements, fresh or silk, stylish jewelry, scented candles and pampering products, cuddly stuffed animals, balloons, and candy. Tracy can help you put together the perfect gift and gourmet basket. Potted plants or hanging baskets with fresh spring flowers. At Tracy's, you're sure to find that unique gift that shows just how much you care. Tracy's is located at 2103 Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to noon. For every occasion, visit Tracy's full-service florist, personalized printing, and gifts. DeKalb Fix-It Appliance Warehouse is a mouthful, so Terry and Bobby have decided to drop the Fix-It and focus on giving you the best prices on new appliances. Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, Amana, LG, Samsung, GE, and more. Up to 75% off retail price on new, scratched and dent appliances. And as your Electrolux and Frigidaire dealer, DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is passing on more savings to you with even more new in-box selections. Need a refrigerator? Come in today and shop our overstocked warehouse. You will not get a better deal anywhere. We guarantee to match or beat any price. In-house service available to all as well. Used appliances will now be available at our previous location on Godfrey Avenue, along with the same computer sales and repairs our customers have come to enjoy. The DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is open weekdays 9 to 5, Wednesdays and Saturdays 9 to 2, located on Airport Road in Fort Payne.
This is Mark Malone, the favorite statistician of Bryan, Steve, Chris, and Holly, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
We're back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve in studio, episode 11.
Greg's already started.
We're already cranking it up with Greg Fowler. Let me hold on. I got to set up the segment. Here we go. Our sponsor, we want to thank Steve Everhart and the guys and gals at First Fidelity Bank. They're sponsoring a Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Full sponsorship. We're so thankful for you guys. Steve's been banking with them since 1970.
67, actually.
67, really? Wow,
really
long.
old.
You have an account? You really have an account?
He does.
Yeah, still about the same amount in there now as in 1967.
Pay a lot of service charges.
Yard mowing money.
So all your banking needs go to First Fidelity Bank. Steve Everhart, tell them that Lunch with Bryan and Steve sent you. We really need to rename the show Fasting with Bryan and Steve because we don't eat anything during these 2 hours. Hopefully you're eating something, but we would love for lunch sponsors to come on board with us. Lunch with Bryan and Steve, sponsored by First Fidelity Bank. Thank you guys. You'll see their logo if you're watching on live stream and Facebook and YouTube. Go support those guys. All your banking needs. Kind of sort of downtown, towards the north end of town on Galt Avenue. There on the left as you're going north. First Fidelity Bank, sponsors of Lunch with Bryan and Steve. So we got in studio Mr. Greg Fowler. Mr. Greg Fowler. So I wish Shirley had an opinion on stuff.
You think? She's probably listening. That's why I got nothing on that. Nothing. Not a word.
I thought I'd try to dream up like how am I going to intro this segment. I said I'm going to drag Shirley in here right at the front.
That would be good.
She gave me my marching orders, and I ain't not
saying anything.
Hey, I've been married 52 years, brother, buddy. I get it.
Oh, congratulations!
52 years.
That's great.
Isn't that something?
That's
Boy, she put up a lot of mess on. I mean, that's amazing on her part. Seriously, I am not kidding.
So, Greg Fowler, we were trying to debate. What is your official title?
I have no idea. I came here in 1982 with out of Myrtle Beach. I was in radio in Myrtle Beach, WKZQ FM. We were a top 40 station. Alabama was, they were playing for tips at the Bowery, and because that's where they went when they left Fort Payne to go to try to find some place to play music because it was dry as a bone around here. Well, damp around here at that time, and that's what they did. And so I met them over there at the beach, and I'm from South Carolina, and we became friends. And then when they finally got a record deal, I was asked if I wanted to come on and join them on the road, and I did. And that was in January of 1982, and I've been here ever since.
Yep.
And,
Shirley told me that story at church one day, and I had never heard the story. I knew you guys growing up because Jay was my brother and sister's age. Clint and Jay played baseball together, so we would see y'all at the park, and I knew who you guys were, and but just didn't ever hear the story of how that happened.
That's how it happened, and I don't, but it evolved. I'd been in radio, know, and I loved that. That was the most fun ever, but I didn't know anything about being a band. I mean, I didn't know. So
y'all must have caught on.
Well, that's what we did.
Looks like we figured it out.
Well, we did. It was funny because that's exactly how we did it. Now they had their record label. RCA had signed them finally, and they had all the facilities there. They had the promo people on the road with them. But I think they wanted me to be more of an in-house guy to work with the labels and do whatever I needed to do, and so it evolved.
You had no experience, no idea,
no clue, none, zero. And we did it. We just did it from the ground up. We talk about, hey, what if we do this? Okay, let's try it, and that's what we did.
That sounds a lot like this show.
That's what I loved about radio. Just show up, put on something long, and I'll be there shortly, But a lot of show prep.
We're following that.
A lot of prep.
Gives us hope for the future.
That's exactly right.
He said a lot of prep, though.
None, zero. I remember, I tell you, put on Frampton. Frampton Comes Alive. It's like 25 minutes long. I'll be there shortly.
I
gotta
think my
stop and get
quote to
something.
Holly on our group text yesterday was, "If y'all give me too much show prep, I'm going to get distracted and I can't think about
You
what I'm supposed
can't. You can't. No way you
So
can
see,
do it.
I'm there.
then-
I'm
then-
halfway there.
No, you can't do it. You can overdo it. I think I've always played the underside on, you know.
Well, you have to have a lot. There's an organic element to the art of anything like this, that if you get so structured, it'll structure me into I can't see straight. I've got to be able to. The best shows that I feel like we do are what's on my mind. Let's talk about it. What comes out, stream of consciousness. And so that's good to know that artists think that way. Did you guys all see it the same way? Did y'all?
They were way ahead of the game. Man, Alabama was so far ahead of the game. They had already formed their own corporation.
Yeah.
They had already recorded 3 or 4 albums of their own. They sold off the stage at the Bowery and other places they would play. Their merchandising, they had all that in place. I mean, they were so far ahead of. They weren't just 4 guys trying to, hey, maybe get a record deal. We'll have to. They had most of the song, a lot of the songs already written. Tennessee River, Why Lady Why, My Home's in Alabama, Lady Down on Love. These were songs that they had been performing not only at the Bowery, but in places all over where they played regionally, you know. They were ready for it. And when I came into it, I was just plugging myself into what I felt we could do to help.
Yeah.
And what the band agreed to allow me to do. And I mean, we do stuff, man. I took a lot of it from just not only radio, but just being, you know, growing up and listening to radio. And I remember I had a little Channel Master transistor radio I'd stick under my pillow at night, you know, and listen to stations out of, you know, whether it's Buffalo, New York, or WABC or WCFL or WLA. And so I had a vision in my own small mind of wanting to do that someday.
Yeah.
And so getting back to the Alabama thing, there were things like when the Beatles hit, for example. You know, they came in, it took the world by storm. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I remember they did press conferences. What we did, but we had so many requests, the band did, for press. So I mean, it was amazing because these guys were on fire.
Right, they sure were.
And so we would do, if we had a show, let's say in Birmingham, we were staying in hotels at the time, so we would pre-book and we'd send all this information out in advance. We'd have a room at the hotel. The 4 guys would come in, sit down. We even had the nameplates run over them, you know, it's like Meet the Beatles on Meet Alabama. And we would invite all the media, all the requests, the media, whether it was TV, radio, whatever, the local newspaper, magazines, the local media from that area who wanted to interview Alabama. They were doing interviews, phoners and stuff like that as well. But we'd bring them all in there, man, and we'd open it up. Okay, we got 30, 40 minutes here. Fire away, and these people would sit there and get all their stories and have all their tape recorders set up to hear the actual band now, you know, answering their own questions. And then we'd give out tickets to all the outlets that were there for the show that night. And the reason we did it that way then was because the demands were so great on their time, and you couldn't do necessarily a meet and greet, which most artists do now after a show or before a show. Because after a show, Alabama would sign autographs until the last person left.
Yeah.
I don't mean we're cutting the line off. I'm talking about some nights we would be still signing autographs. The band would still be signing autographs. The trucks in a full production show, I'm talking about 3-4 tractor trailers, stage down, gear loaded, lighting down, sound down in the trucks, and they're leaving. And we're still there, man. It's at the Iowa State Fair or wherever we were, signing autographs, man. And that was directly the band. That was straight up.
They just wanted to make sure they take care of their fans.
That's exactly right. Meanwhile,
Well,
I'm going,
worked.
man, we need to get out of here. But it was, and that's exactly right. We wrote a song. Randy and Teddy and I wrote a song called "The Fans," and in that song, that's pretty much says it, you know. But no, I came into this thing, eyes wide open. I didn't know.
You didn't know.
But it worked.
So we want to talk June Jam and the Fan Appreciation Week and all that kind of stuff. Where and I don't think I've ever heard the story. How did that idea originate?
What, the jam?
The jam. and all
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you. I wasn't here.
Do we have time for? Yeah, we got time.
I wasn't here, but here's how it came about. As I understand it, and I think it's pretty well documented, that Alabama, this is 1981, and they're just killing it. They've already got their record deal, and I mean, it's just blowing up. So they come home, and there was an opportunity by some unnamed person, which I don't know the name, of we're going to do a concert. We're going to do it at the high school football stadium, and what we're going to do, we're going to have a concert here, and we're going to take all this money, we're going to give it back to the school system, and you guys, it's your hometown of benefit, and it'll be great. And I said, all right, well, as I understand it, said, we'll do that. And they did. And the guy, the promoter, whoever he was, ran away with all the money, left town. The band got nothing. The school system got nothing.
Wow.
This was 81. And so the guys got together and said, that's it. We look bad. This is not the way we do business, and it certainly isn't.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do our own event. We're going to do it ourselves. We're going to use the people. We have to do it, but it's going to be done by us, decided by us, how we're going to do it, the way we're going to do it, where we're going to do it. So in 1982, that was the first June Jam. Did it behind the high school, not in the stadium. It had to.
Yeah.
And I think there was 30,000 people here for the first one. And honest to gosh, there's pictures of it. It's like 2 flatbed trailers just basically put together, just minimal lighting, and there's 30,000 people out there beyond what amounts to a snow fence.
Yeah.
And so that's when it started.
Yeah.
And so for 16 years, we did a June Jam every year, along with all the events that came with
impact.
it. And that's when the sock mills were really strong back then, too, and the mills were all involved, and local merchants were involved, and people like, I'll use this, Brant Gregg was very helpful.
Yeah.
Matt Cooper was a big supporter of the jam, and the whole community was
huge.
Was just involved in it. And at one time we had, from that little stage, I saw this in Amusement Business, which is a publication, an old one I found the other day, and it said, Alabama, from their humble beginnings in 1982, and it showed the little stage, went on to have the largest freestanding stage in North America.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I thought, yep,
well,
I guess we grew it.
When you grow up, of course, I was young at that time, and you can't conceptualize what's going on, but you just see. And then I tell my kids when we're driving up to the middle school, I say, guys, you don't understand.
Yeah.
That whole field.
Yeah.
And when you drive through town during the week, it's
like
bumper
Panama
to bumper.
City.
It
was
is.
great.
Exactly.
It was.
Like
That's a
Panama
good
City.
idea. Well put.
And it was so incredible. And then you were hugely popular at the you were like real popular. I don't know if y'all remember, but when the softball game rolled around,
I was a star.
Great. Had that hair just a flowing.
Well, I had to live up to it because listen, Randy was a great athlete. Teddy was good, man. And we were still we're in our 30s, but we could play. Now we were players, and
y'all were undefeated, weren't you?
Yeah, and we go back. That's why I go back to Brant Craig, who was one of the people to help orchestrate. That was his kind of his deal. We had the Mean Machine, the sock guys here, and we had some of the, and we brought in a lot of celebrities
the
to play.
wrestlers. They brought, man, and I was in like middle school. And they bring in professional wrestlers. I'm like, man, that's
Dusty Rose was here. Oh, it was great.
It was fantastic.
Well, there was something going on all the time.
Oh,
the parade,
great.
the beauty pageant. I mean, and the sock mill, they had their own things going too, and
so
soccer tournaments, and it was
an
a
incredible
softball game. I mean, it was, and then the jam and the songwriters and things. It just went on and on and on.
Let's come back. We got to take a break. Let's keep talking about that because that's so much fun. It really reminiscent about some things happening here. We got Greg Fowler in studio. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Helium Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their Four Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Hillier Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Hillier Mini Storage.
This is Marshall Henderson, pastor of First Baptist Church of Fort Payne, Alabama, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Rawson Pools is eliminating every reason why you can't have your very own. No cash on hand? There's financing available at Rawson Pools. Ground too rocky? Rawson Pools is installing hybrid above-ground pools with 14-gauge steel panels, making it more durable and cost-effective than your average above-grounder. Check out their Facebook page to see what 30 years of pool installation experience can give you. Call 256-638-5904 to take the plunge. And always visit Rawson Pool and Supply Store in Rainsville for all your pool supply and accessory needs. Rawson Pools, the pool professionals.
We're back, Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Holly, your bed music selection is just
unbelievable.
It's all over the map.
It's fantastic. Wait for a ghost to come out behind the console.
We got Greg Fowler in studio. Man, there are so many thousands of directions we could go with this conversation, but we've been talking about June Jam and then the revitalization of that over the last couple of years, and then what's going to happen this year. So you were talking a little bit off air. Why don't you share with us what the plan is for this year for the Jam?
Yeah, we wanted to do it. We brought the June Jam back year before last after a 26-year hiatus.
It was pretty well attended.
It was. It was very well attended. And to your point, thank you for bringing that up, because we have to say thank you to Mr. Charles Stevens and Eric Dudash at the VFW, DeKalb County VFW Fairgrounds out here. They had never done anything like this, like that, ever out there. And I said, would you guys be interested? And they said, Mr. Stevens said, yeah, we can do it. And we did, and it was very successful. We just donated it. It'll be in the paper, I think, soon. We donated another $20,000 from the June Jam Foundation back to the fairgrounds again this year for use of their facility. But the whole thing is, we tried to do it again this year, but it just didn't work out. For one reason or another, we just couldn't put it all together like we felt it should be done in the spirit of keeping it really, up there where it should be. Yeah. And so this year we've gone back to doing Fan Appreciation Weekend, and which they've done in conjunction with the Jam for all the years, even when we didn't do a Jam. Yeah. And so this year, and if I can run these down for you real quick. On Thursday the 26th, Teddy Gentry Singing with the Stars Talent Contest, Fort Payne City Hall Auditorium. 6 o'clock, doors at 4. Tickets are $15 in advance and $20 at the door. And you can call the CAC for more information.
Yeah, and I think my daughter was robbed getting into the finals last year of that. So
we're gonna get into all that. Well, you need to call Amber McPherson and.
It's a joke. It's a joke, but I thought she did fantastic.
Well, he's doing that again.
Yeah, it's really good.
It really is, and Amber McPherson has done a great job of carrying on the tradition from Elizabeth Whitley from picking up the torch and running. They do a fantastic, and it goes for all the right reasons. Yep. And that's on Thursday. Then on Friday, Lisa's doing an event hosted by Lisa Cook, featuring a silent auction and just a lot of things going on at the castle. And I think people around here know where that is.
I grew up across the street from it.
You can get information on that by going to their Facebook page.
I remember walking up there. It was right across the street, and walked up in the woods and could see them building it back in the middle. I was like, wow.
I know. It was like, that was Jeff. That was my man. So that's going on Friday. And then Friday night, by the way, that starts at 10 a.m. That's a brunch. Okay. And on Friday the 27th of June, the Buffalo Nickel Coin Show at the Alabama Band Fan Club, 12 to 3. And this is Teddy's event. This is something he does himself. And it's being sponsored by Buffalo Nickel. And it's fan club members are free, and it's only $1 admission for anyone else that wants to come. And it's a good thing. And again, money's going to be donated from Mr. Gentry to the Children's Advocacy Center. Great. And then on Friday, and this is I guess one of my pet projects, is the Alabama Band June Jam Songwriter Showcase.
Yeah.
And we're doing 2 of those this year.
Okay.
We're doing one on Friday night, and we're doing one on Saturday night. The first time we've ever done 2.
Okay.
And that's going to be, it's probably 2/3 sold out now. It's at the, as I said, it's at the Fort Payne City Hall Auditorium. The city has been beyond helpful in providing the facilities for us to utilize for this event. Sonia Maynard, give her a shout out, and Tricia Dunn, who's my cohort with
Hey,
the
they
jam.
listen, by the way.
You know,
we found out, I think Steve found out they play this show live at City Hall while they're working. So
Hey, guys.
you guys.
Hey guys. Well, anyway, they've been beyond just over the top. And we're doing 2 of those, one on Friday and then one on Saturday night. Doors at 6, show starts at 7. And this particular event has been going on probably for 30 years. It's going on longer than the jams have.
Wow.
Because it kept going. But I got to tell you who's coming this year. And every year we say, well, I don't know how we're going to top this year, but this year we're not only topping it with one night. We're not topping it, but we're bringing in additional writers that some have been here before. It's been a long time. Some haven't. But it's going to be fantastic, man. We've got Neil Thrasher, who's only written probably 25 #1 records. He's a Birmingham boy. He's written a bunch of stuff. Dave Gibson, he wrote, for example, Jukebox in My Mind for Alabama. Dave Turnbull, who wrote Arlington, which is Trace. Oh, yeah. I mean, Philip White, he's won 3 Grammys. He's an Alabama boy. And then Lenny LeBlanc.
Lenny LeBlanc.
Yes, half of LeBlanc and Carr, which they had one of the biggest pop records ever. He's coming. So, but they're not all coming on the same night. 3 are going to be on Friday night, and 3 different ones are going to be on Saturday night.
Yep.
So we're splitting them up, and it's if you've ever been to one, you know what you're going to get. If you haven't, you should really. I encourage you to buy a ticket for this thing. All the money goes back into the June Cham Foundation outside of what we have to pay the expenses. But songwriters aren't charging us anything. They come for free. And they come because of Alabama, man. They come because they want to show their honor, if you will, and their support and love for Alabama. And again, the money's all, it goes back into the...
Is there a website or some other way
you
that we
can call
access?
this is what's so easy about this. You can call the Alabama Band Fan Club at 845-1646, or just come by. Or just come by. Or you can go to our Alabama Band fan page.
Okay.
There's like several different splinter groups out there, so you got to be careful. You know, I mean, there's some rebel forces out there you got to be aware of. But it's the Alabama Band fan Facebook page.
Okay.
And the information's there. But it's honestly, it's going to sell. Both these shows are going to sell out. There's no doubt. And also, if I may, as I said, Randy's doing an event too. His is totally sold out. And this is something he's brought back after 3 years. And it's out at the farm. All the tickets had to be bought in advance off a website, and they're gone. They're totally sold out.
Yeah.
And it's his chance to just meet with the fans personally on a personal note. But I wanted to share this because you were mentioning a few minutes ago about your sponsors here.
Yeah.
And for the first year ever, we also have some sponsors for our songwriter events.
Okay.
Nationwide, Randy Jones, Nationwide, they're one of our sponsors this year. First Fidelity Bank, they're one of our sponsors. First State Bank is going to be one of our sponsors for our songwriter showcases. Westmoreland Tire, Mr. Westmoreland has been in our camp forever. Ever.
We love the West
Coca-Cola, and also it looks like, and I say looks like because it's not firmed yet, but the Alabama Department of Tourism looks like they're going to come aboard.
Well, that'll put some pressure on them to do.
Yeah, there you go. You hear that, right? But it's just it's a great weekend. It affords the chance for the fans who may not see Alabama play in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or Pittsburgh to come here and experience a taste of what we do here in Fort Payne, as many of them have for the years. Even though we're not doing a jam, it's still a good collection of events that are going on.
Well, that's one of the things that is remarkable about these guys. And I have people who know I'm from Fort Payne and know you meet somebody out and about. Do you see those guys? Yes. They are just normal around here. It's not unusual to see them at the bank, at
right.
the grocery store,
Walmart.
at Walmart, just out and about. And it's remarkable because you see so many people who, when they make it, they move to Nashville or they move to Los Angeles or somewhere else, and to have them just constantly pouring back into the community is really
awards night Tuesday night.
Yeah, at awards night when Randy was there presenting.
Randy
awards.
Owen, he's got his kids in school here too. But Randy Owen sings the national anthem at every Fort Payne High School baseball game.
That's right.
Now he's not there in person, but by golly, when you hear that voice going across that meadow out there, you realize that guy can sing, and he delivers it. And I'm glad they still do that. That's something we introduced a couple of years back, and I mean it just.
Well, he was instrumental in that field getting there, wasn't he?
He sure was. And the band, you know, that's the thing about the Jam in the years that we've done the June Jam. The money from the Jam went back into, I mean, everything you can imagine, from schools to the school system to rescue squads to, I mean, fire department, volunteer. I mean, it just went on, and scholarships at Northeast. Randy had a scholarship fund at one time set up for kids that wanted to get a college education but couldn't afford to go off to Auburn or Alabama or Jack State. And he developed a scholarship where you could get 2 years of college at Northeast Community College, and he was a student out there as well.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's Mr. Jack State now.
Oh, no, yeah.
But we still support this community, and going back to, and I'm rambling a little bit, but going back to Northeast Community.
This whole show's rambling.
But going back, no kidding. But going back to Northeast Community College, they provided the facility for us to do our songwriter showcases there for many years. Didn't charge us a dime, nothing. And we've done it at the DeKalb Theater. We've done it at the Fort Payne City Hall Auditorium. We were doing it again this year at Northeast. But the support that we've gotten from the community as well as the fans. I know it says Fan Appreciation Weekend, but we got fans here that don't necessarily have to come from Ohio or Pennsylvania or anywhere else. So it's a big deal. It's something that the band has continued to do and want to do, and we totally support it. And our fan club, I mean, we'll have merchandise down there. I mean, it's just come by, and that's how you pick up your tickets. You get your ticket. We're not mailing anything out. You're not going to a website and getting
going old school.
Old school. We
there
have
you
the
go.
seats reserved. You come down, and all the seats are reserved, by the way. You come down, you get your tickets, and maybe come. Who knows? The band may be in there wandering around or something. But the fan club and the museum. We're proud of all that, and that's kind of what I do. I mean, Mary Jones. I got to say this too. Mary Jones is the official Alabama fan club manager. I get credited with that. It ain't true. No, that's her. I'm involved with the museum. I'm involved with the June Jam and some other things, along with our team in Nashville. Tony Conway, our Alabama's manager, Outback Presents, their promotion production company. They're involved in what we do with the Jam and so forth. But this is more of a hometown event here without the big concert.
That's
but
cool.
It's still we're working on it for next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, we're going to take a break at the top of the hour. We'll come back with more Greg Fowler on Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
More and more people are saying goodbye to pests with Safe Solutions Plus LLC. And it's no wonder with their top-notch customer service, quality products, and lower prices. And now with their new website, it's never been easier to manage your pest control service with Safe Solutions Plus. Just visit sspestandtermite.com to view your billing details, make payments online, and review past services. Family-owned and operated, Safe Solutions Plus is located at 934 Main Street West in Rainsville. Call 256-638-7378. Safe Solutions Plus, protecting homes and businesses one solution at a time.
Hey then, bye.
Hey, it's Chris Stewart, the voice of the Crimson Tide, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB Radio. Roll Tide.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
We just love it. All right, let me bring the show back.
The background
You wanna
of the
bring us back?
main pad.
Let's see your radio days. Bring us back like you're a DJ.
Okay.
Got it? Can
Yeah,
you lock it in? All right, here we go.
Nah,
All right.
it's easy. That's no problem. Rock 102 WKZQ FM in the beach. It is 75 degrees right now. Hope you're having a big time out there on the Sun Fun City. See,
You've been listening to me.
Hope you're having a great time on the beach today. All his radios blasted. We got the Temptations coming up next. Billy Joel will be up in 5.
That's
Greg
good.
Fowler on KZQ Rock 102.
Did you use your
Time
real
to
name?
turn before you burn. We had all those jingles.
Did you use your real name?
Yeah, man. I want people to know who I am. I mean, I was Chuck Rose for a while.
Were you?
No, we did some crazy. I was Greg Fowler. That was me. We're in the books, man. We won. I was so blessed to be in a place that I had. You could do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
We weren't big. We were
That sounds like
3,000.
us, too.
I mean, we were. We had. It was so fun. We had I was Billboard Magazine's program director of the year for Top 40. Hot 100, and in 1980 and 81, we were Billboard Magazine Station of the Year, small markets, and we didn't even report to Billboard. And people who don't know that, what does that mean? A reporter is somebody that's aligned with that publication. You're giving them chart numbers on what records are going up, what records are coming. No, people just liked us. They wanted to come down and visit and hang out, and we had record guys in town all the time because, I mean, it's Myrtle Beach. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that'll draw it.
But we did well, and we won a bunch of Station of the Year stuff from South Carolina Station of the Year. Shit.
Wow.
But it was great because we had fun. We just had fun, a lot of fun.
That's all right. Ain't nobody listening. We're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
Whatever.
If we get this,
He didn't quite get the word completely.
I didn't. I don't know. I don't know who said it. I don't know.
You ready for a trivia question?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Go, Steve. Let's get off of this.
I'm ready.
Let's get off it.
Hey, Holly, by the way, if we were doing shorts, this would be the spot that
This
you
is
need
the
to mark.
spot. Okay.
Yeah, I would
All
cut that out.
Top of the hour. No. We want to.
No, we want to pro.
Oh yeah, well that'll be
Just
great.
listen.
You put reverb behind it.
She used to me during football season.
Oh, I've heard you, buddy. I just keep waiting for the next one.
Oh, I know.
I just keep hanging in there. Come
He's
on.
done well. He
Come
hadn't
on,
really dropped
Steve.
one
Come
yet.
on, baby. It's coming. I'm just waiting to hear.
If I could just hold back.
He has done it off air, but he thought we were not on air, but we actually were. And we had to, Holly had to cut it
That's
out.
the worst. I've done that. That is the worst. That's the you go. I did what?
I said what?
When did I say that? Oh yeah, I think I remember.
All right, go ahead. Trivia question.
Okay, before Alabama was Wild Country, what was the first name of the band?
Young Country.
See, I didn't know that, but I was 100% sure you would.
Well, they didn't have a name, and what happened was they entered a talent contest over in Section. This is when they just first got together, and they said, well, we don't have a name. And they said, well, what's your name? We don't have one. How about Young Country? All right, that'll work. And they won the talent contest over in Section High School.
That's funny.
That's
Wow.
and then it
What
went
made
on
them
to
change to Wild Country?
They did it well. They just wanted. I guess wanted.
Just
This
mix
is
it.
where I'm in Myrtle Beach at this time, but I think they decided that we gotta have Wild Country came up, and it was it seemed to work for a while. And even when they went to the Bowery in the 70s, in 73, whatever, they were Wild Country, and it's said on the drum, Wild Country. Wild Country, that was their show. That's who they were. The van had it on the side, the Blue Goose, it's in the museum here in Fort Payne, Wild Country. Well, in the Bowery, there are little signs, small little signs, and they're all around the Bowery, and it's a different state. It's Alabama, Arkansas, Nebraska, all 50 of them. And
Places like that.
at some point, somebody, whether it was in the band or whoever took the Alabama sign down that was hanging somewhere randomly in the Bowery, and put it over the bandstand in Alabama, Wild Country on the road, Alabama. And so when these people would come down from Ohio and or Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, they would come in and they may not remember the Wild Country part, but they remember that this was that band from Alabama. The Alabama band. Oh man, you got to go to when you go to the beach. You got to go to this beer joint, the Bowery, and man, there's a band there. They're really good. They're the Alabama band. That band from Alabama, and so eventually they just dropped band and it became Alabama. There was never, ever, ever, not one time, ever an intention to call themselves Alabama. It never was. It wasn't like, oh, what do we have a name? How about Alabama? Oh no, that's a football team. That's a state, actually. No, we're not going there.
It's mostly a football team.
It just evolved. It
You're
evolved.
just one Steve over right there.
Oh, I know. Bless his heart. But it evolved, and that's how the name Alabama came about.
I have never heard that story.
It just happened.
There's so many times when stuff like that. We were trying to figure out what we were going to call this show. And I was like,
I bet y'all came up with some names.
She had total lack of talent.
Two idiots on the radio.
God help them. Second choice.
Oh man.
So let me ask you this: when you're you get here, you're from South Carolina. I mean, Fort Payne is. I mean, before Alabama hit, I mean, ain't a whole lot going on here.
There wasn't a whole lot going on there.
As you're getting, you raising your children here.
Oh yeah,
and you've got things going on. What was that transition? What did that Jay and the twins and how did all of that?
Having a loving wife was the key,
that was it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
you're
exactly
on the road
right.
a bunch
all the time. We were, well, first of all, the first part was it was culture shock for me because living in Myrtle Beach and growing up and doing what we were doing in radio in Myrtle Beach, 24-hour FM in Myrtle Beach is like, woo, that was a movie in itself. The whole lifestyle, Shirley hated it, by the way. The whole lifestyle that I was engrossed in, I guess, was we were a rock and roll radio station, and we had people coming and going all the time, and we were doing a lot of broadcasts. We were in clubs at night. We were just all over the place. And this was the 70s, and it was just a whole different time.
Yeah.
But when I moved here, at first it was like, wow. I mean, it was like different. It was like, I mean, I grew up in Lawrence in a tobacco town, and it was like that. It wasn't Myrtle Beach, but I'd been so involved in that whole deal during that. Yeah. And so, but then the longer I was here, the more I was here, the better I liked it because I liked the fact that there was I liked the fact that you didn't have to stand in line at a restaurant from the 1st of June till Labor Day.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it wasn't this, it wasn't that. Even that's how we made our money. You know, the station made their money off the sales in the summer mainly, and tourists would come to town. That's how the restaurants made their money and everything. But during that period of time in the late 70s and even before, Myrtle Beach, not now, it's a whole different deal now, but it was a seasonal town.
Yeah.
You would have the Canadians would come in, well, I don't know about now, the Canadians would come in February, and they'd be out in the water, man. It's like, this is February, they're out there just,
our 51st
going,
day.
what is going on with these people? And then they would leave. We had Can-Am Week. That was a promotion Myrtle Beach did. And then the golfers would come for spring. They'd play. Easter weekend would show up. All the high school kids would show up and college kids, and it was a blowout for Easter weekend, that period of time. Then it got back to quiet again. And then when school let out, 1st of June, it was, I mean, non-stop until Labor Day. And then when Labor Day hit, it was back to a seasonal town again. Wow. Golfers came back for the fall and the good rates and all that. And then thing rolled around again until it started. But now it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week town now.
Wow.
But it was fun. But coming here was different. But I love it here. I tell people all the time, man, this is the greatest place in the world to live.
Well, you wouldn't be here for 40 years if you didn't.
No, and we were gone a lot. I mean, Shirley, man, she took care of the PTA and all the stuff. But when I was here, I tried to be.
You were there a lot.
I was here. I mean, we coached I coached Jay's baseball team or coach it. Parker's the same thing. Jordan, I would attend her dance recitals and stuff. When I was here, I tried to be here. Yeah. Even though we were busy all the time. We had offices going with stuff happening 24/7 until we went back out on the road. there were times, man, we were gone. We'd be gone 200 days a year, 200 more. And even before when I came, I think the first year Alabama went out when they first got signed, they were gone 300 days.
Wow.
Playing every beer joint in Texas, everywhere you had to go because RCA was putting them out there, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what we did. But the longer I was here and became more involved in being here and this lifestyle, because there's one thing about traveling like we did. You see where you don't want to live. You know, I mean, you feel, oh man, I know, boy, I sure would love to live here. Nope, don't think so, Bob. This is where I don't want to live.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Not that there's not some great places out there and some wonderful, but it's great to be able to come home.
Yeah.
To a place that's
it's quiet,
more mundane, more quiet. You got one school. You got your high school. You got your. I don't say one school. Kids can start
One
in school
system.
and finish the same way. You know, you're not all over you're over here and this in the school, and then you got to go to this school or this school, and that's just that part of it. And of course, the athletics and the camaraderie, the fellowship of the family, the church, the churches. I mean, it's a great place to live.
It really is. It really is.
So you're responsible for bringing Bruce Burnett to Fort Payne.
No, Bruce Burnett. Let me tell you the Bruce Burnett story.
Okay.
Preface who Bruce Burnett is.
Who's Bruce Burnett?
He was he the road manager?
He was the road manager
for the Alabama band, and he and I coached many soccer teams together.
Oh, is that right?
Those kids got a lot of quality coaching.
They did. Oh yeah.
Did y'all have a dump button on the soccer field?
It was impossible. We coached 2 games before we realized after you scored, the other team kicked.
Yeah.
You know, I had a return left, return right. You know, and then we ran the wishbone. So anyway, go ahead.
Bruce was one of the original.
Now, did he come from South Carolina too?
Bruce is
proudly
proudly a South Carolina Gamecock.
Okay.
And he came out of the Bowery. Bruce had done a lot of things prior. He'd done
a lot of time.
He'd had a couple of scrapes with the law, I think, and he'd laugh about it now. But he came out of South Carolina. He was part of that Bowery contingency.
Yeah.
Now, when Alabama, he was a bouncer, but Bruce was whatever he wanted to be. But he was a man, but he was stout. I mean, he'd hung steel. I mean, he was that guy. Bruce was a jack of many trades, so to speak. Well, anyway, he was part of the Bowery bunch. And so when Alabama finally got signed, well, it's time to go we got to go. Well, they ain't got, what they got? They don't have a bus. They don't have a road crew. They don't have anything. They just got a record deal, and it's time. So, okay, now what? They had their business model together, but they needed some people. So basically, they took a lot of the guys like Joe Carpenter, Scuba Osborne, Bruce. There was a number of these guys that were at the Bowery who were working at the Bowery as a bouncer or waiter, whatever, or just being a part of their friends there. They took them on the road, and that was the Alabama's road crew. That was the first road crew, and Bruce was a part of that deal. And then he came in as a bus driver and road manager. And I think one night when he ran off the road and turned the bus sideways, and all the band was standing up next to him by the time it finally stopped. That's when they decided that he needed some help, and he couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
And so then that's at some point that's kind of where I came in. Not that I'm ever going to drive a bus, but that's when Bruce he became solely the
there's so many
road
stories.
manager.
Yeah, there's so many stories out there of just. Hey, we're going on the road. You want to come? That's kind of how we started. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do a radio show. Do you want to help out?
That's how that happened. Really?
Yeah. I mean,
have you talked to Holly?
And it's impossible. Looking back on it now, it's impossible to do that because it wasn't. He tried it, and did it for a long time. But when Alabama first got signed to RCA, remember now, this is, if you can remember, this was 1980, 81. This is the urban cowboy movement. Mm-hmm. Remember, John Travolta sold more records along with the Bee Gees and more movie tickets, as the guy in Saturday Night Fever when disco was just blowing up. Then what happens? Disco cools off. John Travolta puts on a black cowboy hat, gets on a mechanical bull, and now it's urban cowboy. Now what? All these discotheques, or a lot of them, became cowboy bars, and they all had a mechanical bull. I give Travolta a lot of credit for changing pretty much a lot of the lifestyle. Anyway, this is Waylon and Willie's. They're hot now. They've already been kicked out of Nashville or left Nashville, came back and did their own thing back in Texas. Now the outlaw movement's going on. With, all those great songs that they were doing, and so this whole genre of music, this lifestyle of everybody. Oh, now I got a cowboy hat. Traded in my platform shoes. Well, Alabama was right on the heels of that.
Yeah.
And so RCA said, all right, here's what we're going to do. They tried to dress them, put them in outfits, and they hated and so forth. New York was going to figure it out.
Yeah.
That didn't last long. But anyway, the whole idea was if you're going to be big in this business, the logic at the time, especially for Alabama, because remember these guys they got football jerseys, jeans, boots, long hair, beards. That wasn't the norm. Waylon and Willie were a little different, but it was like Conway Twitty and the Twitty Birds. It was Loretta Lynn and the Coal Miners' daughter. It was like you had a lead singer, male or female, and you had a backup band that had a name.
Yeah,
they had a name. They one group. That's who they are. Well, Alabama's Alabama. They're just four guys playing their own stuff and doing their own thing. Well, when RCA said, "Look, if we're gonna blow this thing up, you got to go to Texas." And Randy and Teddy will tell you they played every beer. No, that came later actually, but they played every honky tonk there is probably in Texas. I mean, from border to border.
Hold your thought right there. We're overrunning on a break. I want to finish that story and ask you one more question when we come back. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is Paul Crawford from The Locals, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB.
Hello, this is Mike Shirey with the Fort Payne Improvement Authority. Spring is an exciting time of warmer weather and new growth, but it's also a dangerous time. We all remember the tragic storms of April 2011 and lives lost and the scars that remain. We are reminded of the season and how the storms can impact our lives. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to stay safe and have a safety plan when the storms come. Always remember to stay away from any downed power lines or anything contacting those lines. Never try to move a power line and do not drive over a downed power line. If your vehicle is in contact with a power line, stay in the vehicle until help arrives. Stay alert and stay safe from your friends at Fort Payne Improvement Authority.
Yeah, that's fun. We're back, Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Brian Northcutt, Steve Chambers in studio with Greg Fowler from Alabama, the Alabama Band. Our sponsor this segment is DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn. Brian Jones on the north end of town, Fort Payne, there on the left. Go visit those guys. We got Steve's picture of his gun safe that he bought at DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn.
Was it the gun, or was it all the guns in it, or both?
Most of the guns.
And the
Most
display
of the guns.
case, right? Or just the guns? Is it this display case too?
Can you name those guns? Do they have
Do you
names?
have a name for them?
Like Bessie.
No.
No.
And then I can tell you the calibers.
And there's the deer that Steve killed from the gun and ammo that he bought at DeKalb
And
Sportsman.
we need more of that.
Just line them up and light them up.
Does Greg hunt? You hunt?
You hunt?
I used to, man. I did some dove hunting early on back when I was like in the 70s. And I just got tired of killing things. So I fish, and that, I guess that's different. But no, not really.
Just make a hook in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I just enjoyed.
Yeah.
No, not really.
All right, y'all go visit. They're a sponsor of us. They were our first full sponsor. So
Yeah.
Brian Jones, thank you very much for your sponsorship of Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We're thankful to have you guys on board. Go visit those guys. So I have a question. Do you have anything? You're going to tell a Bruce Burnett
There's
story.
one more that we talked about one off there. He asked us to go to Orange Beach. My family to go with his family to Orange Beach, and Alabama tour bus that they didn't use anymore.
I think I remember this.
So that diesel fuel, about Montgomery, that got a little old, but we'd have to stop and fill up. Oh, there'd be just a huge crowd come around, they're thinking Randy Owens coming out, and here I come out.
Yeah.
You could just hear it, the disappointment in there. Oh my gosh, who are these clowns?
That tour bus, that was probably the crew bus.
There's a tour bus over here by the cemetery. Is that?
That was one of our old crew buses. The original Alabama first ever tour bus they ever owned, they bought from the Marshall Tucker Band. When they first needed a bus, it came available and they bought it. It was painted kind of a baby blue color, had a sign of Marshall Tucker Band on the side of the bus.
That's crazy.
And they didn't have time to do anything. I mean, they just tried to cover the sign up because they got to go. They're working. And apparently they pull into a truck stop, according to what I understand. This is Teddy told me this. They pull into a truck stop, and apparently what was covering the sign had blown off, and it was just showing Marshall Tucker Band. And these kids showed up at the truck stop when they're fueling up, and and they said, "Hey, is wow, Marshall Tucker on there?" And Teddy said, "No." He said, "But if you see him, tell him we said hello." And so they eventually had the thing painted and with the stars on the side. It's red, white, and blue. That bus is in the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. The entire bus is in Muscle Shoals in the Hall of Fame.
That's cool.
That is the original Alabama tour bus, and we've seen people want to sell knockoffs, it's like, oh yeah, that was the original, but no, it's not, because Alabama at one time had some grills, and I think some of the people that were involved in running the grills went out and bought some regular old buses and painted them to look like Alabama stuff, but it wasn't. But the real, and the one at Randy's farm out there in the weeds and this other place, that's one of our old original tour buses.
Wow.
But the original band bus, which I traveled on, is in the Alabama Music Hall of Fame.
Wow.
The whole bus is
That's
in there.
cool. So I've got one question I wanted to get to, and we've got this last segment here. The changes from when and what you know of and how you've seen from where you started in 1982 till this last 10, 15, 20 years of the music industry with the advancement of all these apps and play platforms and all of this stuff. What is the biggest, what is your perspective in what you've seen change from when you started with Alabama in the early 80s?
Thankful that we didn't have all that stuff back then.
Really? Yeah.
Social media, oh Lord. Well, it's just different. It's all different now. I mean, we went from selling to 45s and albums to then, here comes the invention of the 8-track. We would train. You remember it stopped in the middle of a song. Click, and it would finish the song. To 8-track tapes, then the cassette, which always got messed up. You had to have a pencil, so you could wind them back up. And then it went to the CDs, and then it went from that to, it was like stream. I mean, it's just progressed and progressed and progressed, and now, and it's known that the record industry has undergone many changes, obviously, and a lot of it is in decline in record sales because it's streaming now, and it's used to you'd buy an album, not an Alabama album, of course. You go buy an album because there's 2 songs on there, like Paul Revere and Narrator, and you wanted to hear 2 songs, but you had I'm just using them for an example. You might have
all the other songs.
8 more on there that you didn't care anything about, but you bought the album because you had to get those 2, or you could buy the 45. Remember, back in the day, Jake almost said Wednesday, I guess, but back in the day, you'd go to like Woolworths or Cress's or whatever the record store was, and they'd have them. The top 40 would be like 45s, and they'd all be lined up. And you could go, there's one, there's the Supremes, there's the Temptation, there's My Girl. And they were, I think even back then they were like $1. I think that was pretty much. And the album was like maybe $4 or $5, $7 or whatever. But all that's changed now, man. Yeah. Everything is digital. It's in the air, And one of the fights that has been going on for a long time is intellectual property. And now that AI's come into it, this is a whole nother world now.
I
mean, but when... there were so many people. I think I say people. I use that a lot because it just catches a lot of lint, But it's a conception by a number of individuals that a song is really it's free. It's not. You don't. That's just something out there. That's mine. I can use it. I can steal it, copy it, do whatever. and it's not. It would be like you taking a painting that Holly did and just taking it and selling it. Well, she created that.
Yeah.
But that is a piece of hard, you know, work. Whereas a song, it's like, oh, that's whatever. And they've been fighting that. BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, the entities that control the policing of songwriters' monies and so forth. They've been fighting that battle for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've seen a lot recently of people selling their catalogs. Have they guys expressed, or is there any interest in that for Alabama to?
They have already done some of that.
Oh, they have? Okay.
Oh, yeah, and it's just, you know, it provides, there's lots of, well, I think Zach Bryan just sold his for $350 million.
Yeah, there's crazy numbers.
And it's mainly a collection thing. These entities, groups, whomever that will buy these catalogs, and it goes way back. I mean, Michael Jackson, remember he bought the Beatles catalog or something.
That's right.
So it's been going on for a long time, and these companies who get all these copyrights, they just look at it as a way to hopefully someday just bankroll it, or they're going to sell it to somebody else. It's just it's a transgression of transmission of just music. It just keeps going on and on.
That's funny.
But the copyrights, thankfully, I've been fortunate to have written some songs with Alabama. As a songwriter, I will always retain that.
Yeah.
If somebody cuts Dancing Shaggin' on the Boulevard somewhere down the road, I will still be paid as a writer on that song. I
don't think I ever knew that you wrote some of those songs with them.
I co-wrote a bunch of stuff with Alabama.
That's cool.
I was proud to be.
Did you know that, Holly?
No, I didn't know that.
Have you written one about Shirley yet?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Oh, really? You want to?
No, that's not.
Tell the name of it.
Holly was turning you up. She's ready to hear that.
Well, let me. Speaking of Shirley, God bless her, and I mean
she's a
that.
sweet, sweet lady.
But Shirley loves Holly. She said, you tell her, she's got the sweetest voice. She's the nicest person. She has nothing much to say about y'all, but she really thinks the world of Shirley.
She tells me during the week what she thinks of me. So.
Thank you, Shirley.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Sweet.
That has been one of the since I've. Were you all right there, Steve? You kicking the table over here?
Leg cramp.
I'm just a fat old man turning around over here.
That's been one of the best blessings of being at First Methodist Church, along with Steve Chambers, is getting to know Shirley Fowler. And of course, I would see you guys when my brother played with Jay and just growing up and stuff like that. And but just getting to know her, she's a sweet, sweet woman, and she does a great job at the church. And she's been so helpful in my job. And it's been really, really blessed to get to know her. Steve, now you can.
She told me not to talk about it. but if I did, it would be all positive.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Greg, man, it has been a blast. We could do this for another hour.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so much fun. Thank you. Yeah. And we'll maybe have you, if we keep going on the air and we get some more sponsors, we'll get you
Are you running for city council?
Yeah,
no, I'm one of the few that aren't. No, I'm not running. I'm running from things, not towards it.
Oh, man, it's been great to have you on the show. Thanks for coming and visiting with us.
I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to promote what we do. And,
yeah,
and as I
absolutely.
said, Fan Appreciation Weekend is going to be a big deal. And I'm telling you, and I go back to the Songwriter Showcase events. If you haven't seen it,
yep,
you really need to. And
it's
as
high
I
quality.
say, Alabama Band fan on page on their Facebook page, or just call our fan club. You know, and they'll put you. All the seats are reserved for that. As I said, Randy's event he's doing on Saturday, he's sold out. Lisa, you can get in touch with them. Again, just go to our website. All that information is there. Teddy's event, and again, the CAC event is special. I think that event, especially having gone to many of these dinners and so forth that they do every year, they do such a great job with that.
Absolutely,
fantastic.
We need to get Amber on the show.
You absolutely should
get Amber on the show.
You absolutely should, because she can tell you so many of the things that they're involved with. And again, it gets back to the community and the volunteers. When we do the jam, the volunteers, the city of Fort Payne, the fire, rescue, police, sheriff's department. I mean, it just goes on and on. Fort Payne Water, who allows us to park our stuff back there in their lot, which is directly behind the fairgrounds. I mean, it just goes Fort Payne Electric, man. I mean, if they give us stuff that we couldn't even afford to pay for. I'll just be straight up with you about that. And it all goes back into doing what we're trying to do to help create traffic in our community.
Absolutely.
And also, to, quite honestly, to say, hey, look, man, Alabama, we're still doing this, and we want to continue to do it as long as you'll support us.
Well, they are obviously Fort Payne's favorite sons. They are icons, not just in Nashville and around the world, but just to have what they've done for Fort Payne, and you can give them this message from Lunch with Bryan and Steve, this little old radio show. But we're so grateful for what all you guys have done. So thankful that you came on to be with us and promote that, and we're going to promote it as well. And just blessings to you, brother.
Thank
Thanks
you
so much.
Thank you. I got one thing else I want to say. And Teddy, we're talking about Alabama, the band, the group, whatever. And they've been asked this, and Teddy, we talked about this, Teddy Gentry and I talked about this just last week. We're just kind of rehashing some old stuff. And I said, well, man, it's so many of the same questions over and over again. How can a band, how do you stay together? You're 4 different guys with Mark, Randy, Teddy, and Jeff. How does it work? And even going back to when they first formed on one Sunday afternoon, unofficially, over on Sanders Avenue in Teddy's back of Jeff's house over there, when they first got together to pick. And Teddy said, we always, Randy and Jeff and I had one statement. When we first got together and we started our deal, we can argue, we can cuss, we can do everything and anything, but one thing we all agree that we will never do is quit.
Wow.
We will never, ever quit.
Well, they haven't.
And they didn't. They never did.
Yeah,
never
that's
did.
great.
And then that perseverance, all those years of struggling, trying to get something going. Nope, sorry, we don't need a band. Nope, don't need that. Don't need you. Cut a haircut, That paid off. And now,
That's
obviously, they're the largest.
Unbelievable.
They're the largest selling country music group in history.
That's
great.
And
not to mention all the 200 200 awards and
that's cool.
8 Entertainer of the Year awards.
That's really cool.
Country Music Hall of Fame. Statues?
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, Greg Fowler, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We've got 30 more minutes of the show left. Steve and I and Holly will just sit here and banter around. You're listening.
You're her favorite. You're still her favorite. Even when I walk out of here, Holly, you're still my wife.
You ought to see her at 5 minutes till 12.
That's right. Maybe that's why she's her
5
favorite.
till 11.
You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back right after this.
When you need to give something special, visit Tracy's in North Fort Payne. Beautiful floral arrangements, fresh or silk, stylish jewelry, scented candles and pampering products, cuddly stuffed animals, balloons, and candy. Tracy can help you put together the perfect gift and gourmet basket. Potted plants or hanging baskets with fresh spring flowers. At Tracy's, you're sure to find that unique gift that shows just how much you care. Tracy's is located at 2103 Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to noon. For every occasion, visit Tracy's full-service florist, personalized printing, and gifts. DeKalb Fix-It Appliance Warehouse is a mouthful, so Terry and Bobby have decided to drop the Fix-It and focus on giving you the best prices on new appliances. Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, Amana, LG, Samsung, GE, and more. Up to 75% off retail price on new, scratched and dent appliances. And as your Electrolux and Frigidaire dealer, DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is passing on more savings to you with even more new in-box selections. Need a refrigerator? Come in today and shop our overstocked warehouse. You will not get a better deal anywhere. We guarantee to match or beat any price. In-house service available to all as well. Used appliances will now be available at our previous location on Godfrey Avenue, along with the same computer sales and repairs our customers have come to enjoy. DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is open weekdays 9 to 5, Wednesdays and Saturdays 9 to 2, located on Airport Road in Fort Payne.
This is Mark Malone, the favorite statistician of Bryan, Steve, Chris, and Holly, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
All right, we're back with Bryan and Steve on WCB.
We won't let Greg go, will we?
Greg, apparently Greg's going to hang around here for another segment.
We love it. We would love it. There you go.
We got nowhere to go, folks.
Just hang in there.
He's going to get a liner for us here in a minute, but we'll do another segment. How about that?
Yeah.
So Steve has got something that he wanted us to see. Where did you tell me you got this from, this picture?
My sister is in somewhere in Michigan, I guess Detroit, the Henry Ford Museum.
Yeah. Well, can you see that on there, Holly?
Yeah.
Because we can zoom on that. We can't show any YouTube videos.
Here.
This is our morbid minute, I guess.
Yeah, Steve apparently really enjoys murders and assassinations.
Well, no, it's the people that.
So, Greg, do you
want
to take a? Can you see that, Greg?
Yeah, I can see it.
You want to take a guess at what that is?
It's a chair.
It is.
Yeah, you win a hamburger.
It's actually a rocking chair that could use some upholstery work.
It's got blood stains on it.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yep.
Okay.
It's from 1865. If that helps you.
Yeah, that shows me
on the back of the head, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that no way?
Yeah.
Really?
That's the chair President Lincoln was
No
sitting in when he was
kidding.
assassinated, and it's at the Henry Ford Museum because it was Ford Theater in Washington D.C.
We played. Alabama played there years and years ago. It was a kind of a celebration, if you will. I mean, Alan Jackson was there.
Wow.
I think Randy Travis was there. There was a lot of artists there, and we played there. Of course, obviously, President Bush Sr. was there. A lot of Secret Service was there, but we were up in that booth where he was actually shot, and it was kind of weird to be up there looking at it, going, man, you know, this is it. This is where it happened, and but yeah, it's because I'd heard of it, you know, before. I'd never been there, and but it's just right there on a little street, and it's just. There it was, and then
Do they got plaques and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's noted, and it's old. I mean, it's like they haven't done a lot to it. The whole place is like it. Yeah, it's just that same old.
God, that would
old
be
theater.
weird.
I'm sure they had to upgrade with a sprinkler system or something. but other than that,
Evidently, air conditioning in it.
Yeah, everybody has to upgrade.
But
So here's one more.
Oh yeah. Is that John Kennedy's car?
Yeah,
Is that the one he was assassinated in?
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas, boy.
At the Ford Theater.
Man.
For the Henry Ford Museum, I'm sorry.
Oh, the Henry Ford
Museum.
Of course,
Because
it's a Lincoln.
it's a Lincoln, Ford Lincoln.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
Morbid minute. I like that.
Yeah, the morbid minute. So let's do something fun. How about our picture down at the big? Have you gotten a picture in the big chair down there?
No. Look at you two.
We're Edith Ann.
At least. Y'all look cozy. Too,
it was a little cozy. I'm ready to get out of there.
Steve said, "Get your arm from around me. What are you doing back there?"
Who built that?
The city employees, the city did, didn't they?
Really?
Yeah, and Builder Supply supplied the
cool.
wood.
Okay.
I did read that.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yeah, so you got like that. Myrtle Beach has something like that, don't they?
They
Somewhere
got
you
all kind of stuff down there, man.
The Destin's got one of those. Down
That's
at Sandestin.
definitely a tourist thing.
Yeah.
There's
Let's
a
go take our
Coca-Cola
picture.
chair too. You've seen that one, haven't you?
They
got a big old
in Atlanta?
red Coca-Cola chair. They bring it to the fair every year.
Huh?
It's big.
Really?
It's a big old giant Coca-Cola chair.
I had no idea about that. So, well, Steve, what do you got? You want to get us a minute? I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I think I'm about.
His favorite part is the rain.
Oh yeah, we got to do the rain gauge total. So Steve's going to give us a rain gauge update. Let me guess. Hold on. This is May the 15th.
It is.
The Ides of May.
Well, I thought it was the Ides of March.
Ides means 15th.
15th.
Like the middle.
Okay.
It means the middle, doesn't it? Isn't that why it's the middle of March?
I can
the
Google
Ides of
it.
March.
We'll go with that.
Google that one.
We'll go with that.
So I called it the Ides of May.
If I had Bruce Burnett here, I know
He'd know for sure.
All right, so we have had a pretty good bit of rain. So I'm gonna go. What? Let's see. I'm gonna
It
go.
was 2.75 last week.
Last week.
Yeah.
Holly, I'm gonna set the over and under at I'm gonna say 5.1. You want to go under? You want to take the under? 5.1.
I'll go over.
You go
It
over.
rained
What do
a
you
lot.
think?
I'm thinking under.
You think under 5.1?
Greg wins another hamburger. 4.68.
Half an inch
Can
off.
I ask a question that says we're on rain gauges? I've often wondered this.
Yes, please.
You know, you see the one that's like this, like a little tube, and it's got a hummingbird thing on it or whatever, and it rains in it. All right. How do you know?
How's it calibrated?
Yeah. How does it not just keep filling up, and then you say, well,
Okay, you gotta.
How do you do that?
You got the slender cylinder that's 1 inch, but you have an outer cylinder which is calibrated that can hold up to 9 inches. And like if it rains 3 inches, you pour out the small cylinder, you get the big cylinder and pour it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I must have had a knockoff because I just had one cylinder.
This is riveting radio right here. You're not going to
get.
I guarantee you're not getting this on other radio shows.
That's
particularly
right.
ones in the middle of town.
That's I never knew.
He
that.
reminds me more and more of Bubba all the time.
But you have to have it calibrated.
I didn't know that.
And if you're out there during a thunderstorm, because you have to turn it into the weather service at 7, you go.
Do they send you one?
Faster.
Do they send you one that you got to use? Like their official one?
They send me one, but then I had to pay for it.
Oh well.
Well, that's no fun.
No.
$20.
Hey, I do want to mention something here. We've been talking about with Chris Dura earlier the baseball playoffs. Golf had their state tournament. We talked about the girls missing the state tournament barely, and my daughter Sydney and the disappointment there. But JP Grote qualified.
You're just bitter today.
No, I'm not. I'm okay. She got messed over at the song at the
I'm about to say.
singing with the start. No, I'm just kidding.
He was throwing stuff on the dance.
No, let's get it out here, brother. I mean, it's
process.
the day for it.
It makes you feel better.
This is
let's
therapy
go with
for
it.
Brian.
This is therapy. I just work it all out.
You'll thank us for it.
Yeah, later.
But everybody at Fort Payne knows JP Grote, local golfer here at the high school.
Now, is he?
It's,
Mr.
It's
Miss
David
Grote,
Grote's
David Grote's son.
son
Okay.
and Lindy Vizina.
Yep.
And he went and played in the state tournament Monday and Tuesday, and finished third. Had a chance. He was really close and was competitive. Was leading there for a little bit.
Wow.
Finished third in 6A state playoffs
That's
or
great.
state championship.
Wow.
Congratulations.
I think a kid from Spanish Fort and one from Coleman.
So when Chris comes on, is he going to talk about golf? Or is he going to talk about
Yeah,
football?
we're talking about
Just
everything.
for a minute.
We're going to talk James. Hey, I tell you who we're going to spend a lot of time on is one Jameis Winston, because he coached him at Hueytown. So I told him, I said, you better have me some.
He played in a spring game at Fort Payne. Yes, he did. In Fort Payne, he was a sophomore in Fort Payne.
Have you seen his stuff on the Cleveland Browns when he played with them this year? And he is, man, you need to Google him.
His eyes are.
He is weird as the day is long, buddy. He has got some.
I'm out of this one, folks.
Just turn the microphone on and the camera on and watch him go. He can. Anyway. But JP finished third, so congratulations, JP Grote.
Absolutely.
Third in the state of Alabama. That's a great finish. Really proud of him. Having his uncle pass away and his dad pass away recently in the last year and a half. He's had a lot of mourning.
That's right.
Yeah, Clay was his uncle, and so proud of you, JP. Great job, bud.
Yes, sir.
Finishing third in the state of Alabama.
Having been here for a long time, and all our kids going through the school system here and playing sports here, all of them. Hats off to this, to our sports program here and all our coaches, and assistant coaches and people who are involved in our athletics, whether it's the booster club or announcers, broadcasters. It really speaks well of our, again, getting back to our community spirit. I mean, we've got a lot to be proud of here. I mean, we've had. I mean, our girls have won state championships. Our boys in soccer, our boys have won state championships. We've come close a couple of times in other sports. But we should pat ourselves on the back because we've got such a strong community base here. that supports our athletics and our kids. And if we go to 5A, look out. That's all I got to say.
Woohoo.
Yeah, it's
gonna
Here's
happen.
hoping.
See, he knows.
Well,
he's Mr. Inside.
we gotta, yeah.
No, that's just what.
But I mean, because it's just.
We're leaking into the off the air stuff.
We're playing a little above our and sorry.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It has been, I would say, and I've told Chris this, speaking of last year, this last football season, because I came from a 6A program where I coached, and we had some SEC quality talent, and we get more, I believe.
Oh, my God.
Fort Payne gets more out of who we're dealing with, the kids that we got, than any school system in the state, or at least as well.
Yeah.
Just because we don't have, what are you doing?
I'm telling you that I want to say something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is.
I thought she's pointing
I
up.
thought she's wanting you to steal third.
And our baseball program and our girls softball program. I mean, we're always in it.
Competitive.
It's very competitive.
And this totally is. It's in. Cindy sent it to me, and I did see this. So Lindy Varnador, Fort Payne Track and Field. Lydia, my bad.
That's
I need new
Close
glasses. Track and field, 3rd place finish for Lydia in her the Alabama High School Athletic Association 1 through 7A.
Is she a hurdler?
She did the heptathlon. I saw that.
Heptathlon. I was trying to figure out how to say that word.
Well, now you
It's
know.
a big one.
It
Steve,
is.
That's nothing for Steve. That's
a brush.
That's 101 for him.
Okay, hold on. Let's see.
But what's her
Lydia
name?
set a personal best and school record score of 42.40. Is that right?
I have no idea.
Am I reading that right? I don't know track.
I don't have either.
Anyway, so there you
But
go.
I did try to get the video up of Roman at awards night. And speaking of, that's why we're having Amanda Varnador next week.
I thought that would be a good.
Speaking of,
one
let's
to
go ahead and promo that. Amanda Varnador is going to be on the show next week because awards day was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And there was a record number. I want to say it was 1.6 million in college dollars.
Amazing.
For this senior class.
Amazing.
They got a Pratt Art Institute attendee coming, graduating this year. Yale, Harvard, got several Sanford.
Got
Cooper
some
Garrett.
smart people.
Cooper Garrett broke the javelin record for 6A at this last state championship.
And all I could think about was, well, we're going to lose a lot of starters.
I was at spring. We got to go to a break.
Yeah,
we're over break.
behind.
Sorry. That's when
my
you know
bad.
you're doing a great show is you get to break and you didn't even realize you got there.
Right.
So we'll be right back with more with Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
Sorry.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Helium Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their Four Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Helium Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Helium Mini Storage.
This is Chris Sturra, the voice of the Fort Payne Wildcats. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. I'd love to join them, but some of us have real jobs to get to.
Rawson Pools is eliminating every reason why you can't have your very own. No cash on hand? There's financing available at Rawson Pools. Ground too rocky? Rawson Pools is installing hybrid above-ground pools with 14-gauge steel panels, making it more durable and cost-effective than your average above-grounder. Check out their Facebook page to see what 30 years of pool installation experience can give you. Call 256-638-5904 to take the plunge. And always visit Rawson Pool and Supply Store in Rainsville for all your pool supply and accessory needs. Rawson Pools. the pool professionals.
Yeah, you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve, WZOB Radio.
Sounds like gunfire, but maybe it was from that last segment.
Monster truck.
This is always Sunday.
Don't go to church. Watch the vehicles run into each other.
Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We're on our last segment. Steve has got us
Possibly of our career. I don't know.
The closing out of the show is today.
See ya.
All right. So, Steve, we've already done this day in history. Talked about Governor Wallace.
Yeah. Okay.
What else you got over there?
I got some quotes of the day.
All right, here we go.
Like.
Let's bring them.
Well, I'm waiting for a Greg Fowler quote, but
I'm out.
let's see. I always do Winston Churchill quote, and I do Yogi Berra.
He's good.
And I got a Vince Lombardi one today too. Just for
Okay, well,
this
let's go.
First one's Winston Churchill.
That's easy for you to say.
It is. And a peaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last.
There you go.
They got voted out this year. Okay. Well, sorry. And my next,
All right.
the next Winston Churchill quote. Oh, it's two for Thursday day. Nothing in life is so exhilarating as to be shot at without results.
That covered a lot of ground.
All right. Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra. Love is the most important thing in the world, but baseball's pretty good too.
Yep.
And I have this up in my little makeshift office. As a little 4-year-old told me at the church, she called my office a makeshift office.
It is.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have the heart to tell her, no, this is the real
this
thing.
is
This is it.
This is what happens when you don't pay attention in school. Okay. So, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence.
Ooh.
Vincent.
Oh, that is Vincent.
Wow.
I've heard that.
Vincent Thomas Lombardi.
There you go.
That's
There you go.
good.
Hey,
I
I set the whole thing up, which I'm chasing the rabbit trail and never got back on the trail.
That's
The whole-
never happened before.
Which is by the way, that's the summation of our whole show.
That's on your tombstone.
Right, chasing around.
I chased the rabbit.
I
never
can't
got
get
back
out
to
of
the
this rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole.
That's
There you
it.
go, that's it.
So I speak in Amanda Vardador. Tuesday night award show. We talked about it and we sent the text out or the link to Facebook, but I can't load Facebook on here. But Roman giving the award for Reese Colburn Scholarship Award to Dax Varnador, which we'll talk about next week
Gotta
with
figure
Amanda.
out how to play that. 'Cause
I've tried to get it up,
That was
and
good.
this
That was really
program
good.
doesn't work. It was fantastic,
Yeah.
and I got to see him. He's going to be on the show at some point in the future.
Is
just
that
to,
combined with Joy, the one they gave for Joy? or
it's separate.
Separate.
JC.
Yeah, JC has
JC.
that award
His
has
Jason's
been
for girls and his is for boys because it's the
that's a
same
good
Heart of
question.
a Warrior.
I think that's maybe it turned out that way this year.
Except that Reese won the Heart of the Warrior, JC's.
Yeah, he won it
One year.
last year. That's crazy. But anyway, excellent. So Roman, shout out to you, brother.
Yeah.
Love you guys, Jennifer, Billy, and Joy. Man, talk
How is
about
Billy?
icons in the community. Like,
How is
Yeah.
Billy
like
doing now?
Well, he wasn't there, and I mean,
I know
he's
he's had
struggling.
some
He's struggling,
health
and and just kind of hanging on. But I can't imagine him not looking forward to reuniting with his grandkids
Oh yeah.
and being up there in heaven with them. And so, Coach Colburn and Joy too. But I had Coach Colburn in.
Yeah. 8th grade
he's-
softball coach.
he's
and
classic.
Health. What
Yep,
happened
he had
in school?
health.
Yeah. I love
And
him.
and so Roman and Jennifer and Rocky, the brother, just praying for you guys. It was really, really good to hear him get up there and talk and give that award. And of course, I look over and Amanda is like right out of the gates, and she's having to run the whole program, and her son gets the award, and she's just over there teared
Balling.
up.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
balling. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Can't
anyway.
watch it with a dry eye.
So anyway, it was good to see them, and glad that they're honoring Reese with that, and just I cannot imagine.
I know.
Cannot imagine going through that, and you just know that. I mean, and my kids were asking about that. I said, well, when he's born with that you just know that day's coming, and he just had health problems his whole life, and he fought, and just anyway. So praying for you guys, and shout out to them. So anyway, I think I've run out of show prep. Holly, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk theology?
And
or...
this-
Oh wait, Steve's got his Alabama.
There you go.
He's got to tout the Crimson Tide here.
Oh, here we go.
Can't get to the show.
No.
Here we go.
Hey, South Carolina told this. Will.
Somewhere.
Yeah, really.
Whoa, we got to
Save
wait
us
a minute.
from
to
all
get
your
to this.
theology.
Oh, by the way.
This is SEC football academic progress rates. Number 1, Alabama.
Well, they have nowhere to go but up.
Okay, Jeff Tate. Number 2, Auburn.
Well, there you go.
What are those
You
numbers?
think
mean?
I'm reading this upside down?
What is the number? It says
998 to 9. And
What does that mean?
Yeah, what
is-
does that mean?
What's
well,
998?
That's the scale. Like Ohio State was 1,000, and
does that
Alabama
mean? 1,000 what?
998. Harvard was 997. So not only
What does that mean?
Miles per hour?
that's the
Something.
grade point average.
Oh.
And
There are smarter
okay.
people at
And some-
Alabama than Auburn?
And some,
Is that what we're saying? Is that grade point average that you're reading, number 1?
Well, it's not grade point. It's part of the
He does.
grade point
He's
average.
Struggling.
I don't think you can have a 998 grade point
That would be
average.
style.
It's
I don't know.
a
Trying to figure it
cumulative. It's a cumulative thing.
I got
Okay.
Missouri was 3rd, Texas 4th, Arkansas, Florida.
Oh, this
Ole
is
Miss.
nationwide.
Vanderbilt's got to be in there
This is
somewhere.
SEC.
Hang on.
Oh,
Yeah,
SEC.
that's a
This
good
is
question.
SEC.
How's Vanderbilt not up at the top?
Because they get that NIL money now. They beat Alabama and they got cocky. Okay, we'll start this again. Alabama, Auburn, Missouri, Texas, Arkansas, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Vandy, number 8.
Oh,
Actually,
they can't even win in that.
there's a 4-way tie for 8th with Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Vanderbilt. 12 is Oklahoma, tied with South Carolina. Tennessee, Texas A&M, and LSU brings up the rear in the SEC football
There you go.
academic progress rate.
Well,
how about it? Alabama wins
this
it
is
again.
too complicated to explain. I'll do this next week.
Just listen. If Steve's going to bring anything in here talking about sports, Alabama's going to be number 1.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to bring it because if it's got a list.
Well, it's not. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting something like that. When I was number 1.
Oh, so hey, shout out to Lewis, which I'm going to segue here. My boy Lewis has got a baseball game today, and we went over to the hitting facility and ran into your grandson, and which my
He didn't
son,
want to come on?
Yeah, I tried to talk him in. I said, "You're."
Yeah.
He didn't want to sit around a bunch of old people and talk.
He's hitting all. Yeah, Nolan's.
He's working.
He's
today.
working out. He's over hitting every day. Huntington won They won their conference championship, and they're in the regionals now. They're moving on, and
Yep.
and but yeah, he loves it down there, and he's playing well. He's starting on the JV team as a center field, and he's hitting the ball well. He's really doing great, and he was another one of those kids, man. He played football, baseball, and basketball, and
and he was good at all of it.
Credit to him, and also my granddaughter Ella's probably around town somewhere today, and I got to give her a shout out too, his sister, because she's at Mississippi State. She's like on the super president's list or whatever it's called, and she's going to vet school soon. And I'm just real, we're proud of our kids and our grandkids, and I've got 2 little ones down in Oxford, in McRae and Camilla, Jordan's kids and Chad's kids, and we got them scattered around all different ages, and so forth.
That's fun.
But again, it gets back to this what we're talking about earlier about this community, how you grow it here, and maybe you expand it here. Maybe people move off someplace else, but it's still here. Here's home. My home's in Alabama. That's what
Lewis
they wrote.
Northcutt wears number 4 because of Nolan Fowler. And
Is that right?
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Really?
we went over there to do some hitting. He wanted to get in. He got in there and saw Nolan, and buddy, his batting practice that day was up a level. He was
That's
like,
awesome.
I got to impress my boy over here, Nolan. He still has his number in his phone and texted Nolan on his birthday. Nolan's like,
That's
who is this?
That is
It was
At least the
That's
answer.
great.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Nolan. Love that kid. I'll see him Sunday. We got Senior Sunday
you
for our
will.
church. We've got to take our final break and come back and close out the show. So we'll be right back with more Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
So long.
Cheers.
Adios.
Bye, please. Lisa. Don't let the door hit you.
More and more people are saying goodbye to pests with Safe Solutions Plus LLC. And it's no wonder with their top-notch customer service, quality products, and lower prices. And now with their new website, it's never been easier to manage your pest control service with Safe Solutions Plus. Just visit sspestandtermite.com to view your billing details, make payments online, and review past services. Family-owned and operated, Safe Solutions Plus is located at 934 Main Street West in Rainsville. Call 256-638-7378. Safe Solutions Plus, protecting homes and businesses one solution at a time.
Okay then. Bye.
This is Robbie Coker with McNeese State Basketball, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB. Go Pokes.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
All right, we're back, closing out the show with Lunch with Bryan and Steve, episode 11. Let me give a quick shout-out to our sponsors. First, we want to thank Thrive Outdoor. Thank Lee Buffington for sponsoring the show. First Fidelity Bank. I'm glad you guys, Steve Eberhart and all the gals over there sponsoring the show, and then Brian Jones at DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn. Really appreciate you guys supporting our show and thankful for everything that you do. You know, I was thinking this morning and just really grateful. In my Bible time, one of the things that God has given me the gift to do is talk. And I enjoy
gift of
it.
gab.
I've got the gift of gab. Although my wife would argue differently, that she wants me to talk more to her. You can talk to all these other people. Why don't you just talk to me?
Yeah, well, she could come and join us right here.
I've run out of steam.
And Steve has got just a really thick, natural country accent. It just is endearing.
Did he just call me a hillbilly?
It sounded like it, Bob.
Bless his heart.
But that's okay.
Just thankful to the Lord that we get to do this. And so we always want to make sure that we give glory to God and thankful for what Jesus has done in my life. And I hope that you guys understand that we're trying to do this for his glory and to bring honor to him. And that's more important than anything else that we do, is glorifying the Lord Jesus Christ. In everything that we do, he's given us this opportunity. We're going to try to take advantage of it. Yeah. I don't know where this is going to lead. We said that from the very beginning. We'll see. The first show, I was like, uh-oh, we ain't got any idea what we're doing. But we made it to episode 11.
But today was very encouraging.
What you do, right? Yeah. If you had an idea, you wouldn't be doing it.
If you knew what you were getting into,
she said, let's try it 3 months, and that's over in about 2 weeks.
No, we got sponsors. We got to keep going.
That's right.
As long as we got sponsors, we'll keep
married to the money.
That's right. Anyway, but we're just glad that we get to do it. Thank you, Holly, for setting everything up. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Cindy in there, Shirley's favorite. Absolutely. Cindy in there, Jordan, love Jordan Wright. And, one a wonderful kid. All the other kids too, but I know Jordan most specifically from youth group last year.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
And speaking of Fort Payne athletes that just exceed beyond what you think they're capable of, and Jordan has done that. So,
Amen.
Steve, I'm really glad we got to do this and enjoying this show. Martha, thank you for letting your husband come down here.
She said, be back so I can let it go 4 hours.
Claire, thank you, baby, for letting me get to do this.
It's going to work for Lee.
I got to put the ankle brace back on. Ankle monitor when I leave it.
All right, we got to close. We've got to go. Thank you guys for listening. We hope that you enjoy the show and give us.
We're gonna still keep talking.
Yeah, give us feedback. On the next episode, Amanda Varnador next week on Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll see you guys next week.
Stop treating your home